Have you ever met someone who saw you, truly saw you, before you spoke a word? INFJs don't just listen. They hunt. Their silence isn't empty. It's a vacuum sucking up every lie, every hidden fear, every mask you've ever worn. They're the rarest personality type, dubbed the mystics, not for their kindness, but because their aura feels less human and more like a truth bomb wrapped in velvet. One glance and you're laid bare. One conversation and you're rewriting your life story. This is why the INFJ aura doesn't just unsettle people, it haunts them. 1. The INFJ Gaze, when silence speaks louder than words. Imagine sitting across from someone who hasn't said a word in minutes, yet you're squirming in your seat like a suspect under interrogation. INFJs have a habit of observing, really observing. Their eyes don't just skim the surface, they dig. They notice the way your fingers tap when you're lying, the split-second frown you hide behind a laugh, and the hesitation in your voice when you say, "I'm fine." To an INFJ, silence isn't awkward, it's a tool. They use it to listen to what you aren't saying. While most of us chatter to fill empty space, INFJs thrive in the quiet, gathering clues like detectives. And here's the kicker. They're not judging you, at least not always. They're piecing together the puzzle of why you act the way you do. But let's be real, when someone stares at you like they're reading your diary aloud in their head, it's hard not to panic. 2. Emotional X-rays. How INFJs see what you're hiding. You know that friend who always knows when you're upset before you do? Multiply that by 10 and you got an INFJ. These folks don't just pick up on emotions, they absorb them. Walk into a room angry, and an INFJ's stomach will knot up. Show up with fake enthusiasm, and they'll feel the hollowness in your voice like a physical ache. It's like they've got emotional Wi-Fi that's always turned on, scanning for signals. But here's where it gets creepy. They often know why you're upset before you do. Maybe it's that offhand comment your boss made last week, or the childhood memory you've buried. INFJs connect dots you didn't even know existed. And when they gently say, "This isn't about the dishes, is it?" during an argument, that's when the real terror sets in. 3. The quiet power of the counselor personality. INFJs aren't the loudest in the room, but they're often the most influential. Think of them as emotional ninjas, stealthy, precise, and impossible to ignore. They won't shout over you or bulldoze conversations. Instead, they'll ask a single question that stops you cold. Why do you think you feel that way? Or what's really bothering you? Before you know it, you're spilling secrets you swore you'd take to the grave. Their calm, steady presence acts like a truth serum. People trust them instinctively, which is equal parts comforting and unsettling. Because once an INFJ has your trust, they see everything. And that kind of power, even when used kindly, can feel like handing someone a loaded gun. 4. The dark side of empathy. When caring becomes creepy, empathy is usually seen as warm and fuzzy, right? Not with INFJs. Their empathy is less hug and more MRI scan. They don't just feel for you, they feel as you. Your joy becomes their joy. Your grief becomes a weight on their chest. This hyperconnection is why INFJs make great therapists, friends, and partners. But it's also why they freak people out. When an INFJ articulates your deepest fears, the ones you've never voiced, it doesn't feel comforting. It feels invasive, like they've hacked into your brain. And the worst part? They're usually right. INFJs don't need you to confess. They've already connected the dots between your shaky hands, your avoidant texts, and that fight you had 6 months ago. It's empathy turned up to 100. And for many, that's 100% terrifying. 5. The INFJ paradox. Idealists who see the worst in humanity. INFJs are walking contradictions. They'll cry to sunset, donate their last dollar to a stranger, and believe in humanity's potential with almost childlike hope. But don't mistake this for naivety. INFJs also see the darkest parts of human nature, the greed, selfishness, and cruelty, with startling clarity. They're idealists who've memorized the blueprint of hell. This duality messes with people. 1 minute, an INFJ is inspiring you to chase your dreams. The next, They're coldly dissecting how society is rigged against the vulnerable. It's like being friends with a fairy tale princess who casually mentions she's got a PhD in apocalypse survival. You're left wondering, are they a dreamer or a doomsayer? And the answer is both. That's what keeps you up at night. 6. I knew you'd do that. The INFJ's unnerving predictions. Ever had someone predict your life choices with spine-tingling accuracy? INFJs do this regularly. Their gut feelings aren't guesses. They're conclusions drawn from years of studying human patterns. They'll warn you that your new partner is manipulative 6 months before the gaslighting starts. They'll sense a layoff coming at work long before the rumors circulate. And when you ask, "How did you know?" they'll shrug and say, "It was obvious." But here's the thing, it wasn't obvious. To everyone else, it looked like smooth sailing. INFJs just see the storm clouds others miss. And when their predictions come true, it's not reassuring. It's like realizing someone's been reading your future in tea leaves. 7. The INFJ Stare, weaponizing eye contact. Let's talk about the stare. It's not a glance. It's not a glare. It's a full-on soul excavation. INFJs use eye contact like a lie detector test. They'll listen to your excuses, your jokes, your deflections, all while holding a gaze so steady it could cut glass. The longer it goes on, the more you realize they're not buying it. You'll start rambling, backtracking, or nervously laughing, but the stare doesn't waver. It's not meant to intimidate, though it does. It's their way of saying, "I see you, all of you." And nothing's scarier than being seen when you're trying to hide. 8. When INFJs turn cold, the door slam phenomenon. INFJs are warm, loyal, and deeply caring until they're not. Enter the door slam, their infamous habit of cutting people off without warning. One day, they're your ride or die. The next, you're a ghost to them. No fights, no dramatic exits, just silence. This isn't a tantrum, it's a survival tactic. INFJs endure toxicity longer than most, giving chance after chance. But once they decide you're harmful, they shut down. Permanently. What's chilling isn't the act itself, it's the calm, surgical precision of it. They don't slam doors in rage. They close them with the finality of a judge's gavel. And you're left wondering, when did they decide I wasn't worth it? Spoiler, they decided months ago. 9. The terror of being understood. Everyone wants to be understood until an INFJ does it. These people don't just get you, they dissect your motivations, fears, and desires like a biologist with a frog. They'll pinpoint why you're obsessed with success, high, neglected childhood, or why you sabotage relationships, fear of abandonment, anyone. For INFJs, this is compassion. They want to help you heal. But for the recipient, it's like sitting naked under a spotlight. We all have corners of our minds we don't visit. INFJs waltz into those corners, dust off the skeletons, and ask, "Why'd you bury these?" It's equal parts awe-inspiring and horrifying. 10. The INFJ aura and leadership, quiet dominance. INFJs aren't your typical shout from a megaphone leaders. They lead like chess masters, thinking 10 moves ahead. In meetings, they're the ones listening while others talk. Then, with one sentence, they'll dismantle a flawed plan and replace it with something brilliant. Their teams often describe them as terrifyingly competent. Why? Because INFJs notice everything. They remember the intern's coffee order, but also catch the accounting error everyone else missed. They'll praise your strengths while silently noting your laziness. It's leadership by quiet omnipotence, and it leaves everyone wondering, do they ever blink? 11. The spiritual mystique. Are INFJs old souls or aliens? INFJs often get called old souls. They'll debate existentialism like philosophy professors or drop wisdom that sounds like it's from a 15th century monk. They're drawn to spirituality, art, and the mysteries of the universe. But this depth has a dark side. Many INFJs admit feeling like aliens, outsiders who never quite fit in. They'll laugh at your meme, but feel more at home pondering the meaning of life. This duality fascinates people, until the INFJ mentions they felt disconnected from humanity since age 6. Suddenly, their old soul Vibe feels less poetic and more, are they from another planet? 12. Why INFJs hate small talk and make you hate it too. INFJs would rather discuss your childhood trauma than the weather. To them, small talk is like eating cardboard, pointless and unsatisfying. They'll steer conversations into deep waters fast, asking questions like, "What's your biggest regret?" at a casual brunch. This isn't rudeness, it's craving authenticity. But for the rest of us, it's like being thrown into an ice bath. You came for pancakes and left questioning your life choices. INFJs don't just hate small talk, they make it impossible to enjoy. And that's terrifying for a society built on "how's the weather?" 13. The ultimate fear. What INFJs see in themselves. Here's the twist. INFJs scare themselves most of all. Their self-awareness is a hall of mirrors, reflecting every flaw, mistake, and toxic trait they possess. They'll spend nights analyzing a 2-second interaction from 2012, wondering, was I the villain? This relentless introspection is why they're so hard on others. They're already 10 times harder on themselves. When an INFJ calls out your BS, it's not judgment, it's recognition. They've seen the same darkness in themselves, and it nearly destroyed them. Conclusion: the mirror that never lies. So, why are INFJs so terrifying? It's not because they're manipulative or cruel. It's because they're human mirrors. They reflect back the parts of ourselves we hide, the insecurities, secrets, and potential we're too scared to claim. Their aura isn't about power, it's about truth. And truth, especially the kind we avoid, is always unsettling. INFJs force us to confront the question, who are you when no one's watching? If that thought sends a shiver down your spine, well, now you know how it feels to me an INFJ.